So here we are, everyone, with my review for Picard, Season 3, Episode 1, The Swan Song for Patrick Stewart. Admiral Picard boldly going one last time. So is this episode any good, or does it crumble under the weight of anticipation? Let's find out. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of my review series for season 3 of Picard. I will be giving you this on a weekly basis every week up until it concludes on April the 20th. So this episode here is aptly entitled The Next Generation, part 1 of this mini-series. And this episode here opens with us catching up with Beverly Crusher. She's on board a ship and she's in a bit of trouble. She's under attack by this other alien craft that boards her, and a gunfight ensues. Beverly Crusher gets injured and sends out a distress call to Picard. We do find out there's someone else on board this vessel as well, but we have no idea who that person is. We're not privy to that information at this juncture of the narrative. We then get the title sequence, which gives us a nice version of the original Star Trek Next Generation music, utilising that again, and we jump to Picard and Laris, and Picard is kind of putting his affairs in order, getting stuff packed away, and he's reminiscing about this picture, a painting of the Enterprise D, Next Generation, and he decides that he wants to send this picture, give it to Geordi LaForge, who we come to find out is running the Starfleet Museum. Picard, while packing stuff away, starts getting a little twerp off of the old communicator, the old badge that he used to wear on board the Enterprise D. And when he finally finds it, he finds out that a message has been encrypted and sent to it, that he has to unencrypt, which he does so pretty fast, for Beverly Crusher to appear on the screen, asking for him help and giving him a bit of information. But she says to trust no one and do not get Starfleet involved. So, Picard, like he does, he goes and gets help from Riker. We meet up with Riker. We come to find out in a sort of throwaway line that there's an implied situation between him and Deanna, that maybe their marriage has some issues and that it's probably a good thing that he's away from her at this time. We are then introduced to Raffi. We meet up with her and she's on this alien planet, Mtalis Prime, where she seems to be under the influence of drugs and all this sort of a thing, and we find out that she's been kicked out of Starfleet and she's attempting to get back into Starfleet. She wants some information off of this fella to do with these experimental weapons that have been stolen from the Daystrom Institute. But after she gets away from this geezer, we come to find out that she's actually working for Starfleet intelligence, but outside of Starfleet, so to speak. We also get a line about her having split up with her girlfriend, that being 7 of 9. Unfortunately, at this point, we don't know how much of this is true or isn't, or it's just being used as a ploy to show that she's, you know, acting undercover and this sort of a thing. Picard and Riker head to Starfleet to do an inspection on board the Titan, the new Titan, which is a Neo-Constitution class vessel. Obviously, this is Riker's old command, so he feels that they can go and get help on this vessel to get them to the location that they need to go, which is the Ryton system, which is just outside of Federation space. We meet up with Commander Annika Hansen, 7 of 9. She has to use this name because Captain Shaw, who's the captain of this vessel, requires her to identify herself as that, as opposed to 7 or 7 of 9 because of the Borg situation. We're also introduced to some other characters like Ensign LaForge, or Crash LaForge, as she's known, the daughter of Geordi, who's on board this vessel as well. we get a great scene with Picard and Riker sitting down with Captain Shaw, and he's not very welcoming of them and doesn't want to participate in their plan, although he doesn't know what their plan is. They ask him to take them to the Righton system, whereby he refuses, and he's just outright cold and not a very nice person whatsoever. However, Seven, I'm going to call her Seven, she goes and takes the vessel to the Righton system for Picard and Riker, where they take one of the shuttlecraft off. And 7 of 9 seems to be in trouble at this point. I doubt that will be the end of 7 of 9 in this series. She's got to come back again. We then jump back to Raffi, and Raffi is searching for something or someone called the Red Woman. This is the name that she's been given. She has to do an investigation into this, but we come to find out that the Red Woman is actually a target as opposed to a person. She uncovers all this information pretty quickly, and she sees the destruction of this Federation building in District 7 on to do with Frontier Day and all this sort of a thing going on that's been introduced earlier in the episode, and you know, and we end up with Riker and Picard finding Beverly Crusher's vessel. They find Beverly Crusher. She's in a sort of stasis unit. The other individual on board the vessel comes about. We find out who he is, and he's actually the son of Beverly Crusher, another son, not Will. And then the ship gets confronted by the aliens that are after them. And the episode sort of closes out there. Now, as episodes go, this was a great start to the series. A very good episode. Very enjoyable. There was a lot of music cues from The Next Generation and also from First Contact, the movie. The music in that was used to overflow the credits at the end of the episode. It was fantastic seeing Picard and Riker interacting again. That stuff was great. The show is very darkly lit. It's very, you know, it's not brightly lit like Next Generation used to be or anything like that. It's still done this dark aesthetic that you do get from Discovery and Picard of Seasons and Old. It's setting up a lot of stuff, this episode, you know, and giving us a few answers as we go along. I mean, I'm a bit concerned in that the other seasons of Star Trek Picard, you know, started off well and then faltered and went off, and I'm hoping we don't get that from this series. There's certainly no sign of it here in this episode. Things do happen quick. People figure stuff out very quickly within the narrative of the episode. Picard, Riker figuring stuff out, Raffi figuring stuff out. It's all done very fast to get the narrative flowing, and I don't know at this juncture whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But on the whole, a fantastic start to the episode. Patrick Stewart himself delivers in the role of Picard, as to be expected. He's a fantastic actor. However, his age is showing, and I did say this about previous Star Trek series, Star Trek Picard series, is that if they can have Patrick Stewart sat down, he's an old man now, they will have him sat down for his scenes, and it is very, very prominent within this episode. I do find that quite amusing. But fantastic nonetheless, wholly enjoyable, you know, and what more can I say? I'll be back next week with episode 2, so let me know your thoughts on this episode down below. Use this as a place to discuss Star Trek Picard if you wish. Do reply to all comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.